going on, guys? Liz here from Learn Robotics, and if you've ever wanted to learn how to create your own custom documentation website for an engineering or robotics project, then you're going to want to stay tuned for today's tutorial. I'm going to be using Hugo, the static site generator, and in 30 minutes or less, we're going to have a fully functional website. Let's head over to the computer. I'll show you how to get this set up. What's going on, guys? Liz here from Learn Robotics doing a quick little voiceover tutorial. I wanted to share with you a secret that I wish I had known about when I was in engineering school and at the beginning of building websites and managing documentation and even creating like personal portfolio websites. So you'll see like some people have like their own website for their resume or for their projects or things like that. And had I had known about Hugo when I was in school or some of the static site generators out there, I think I could have created a lot better presentations for managing not only robotics and engineering projects, but also have, really nice websites that are easy to manage and don't really cost a whole lot other than maybe an hour or two of your time in getting them set up. So this is going to be a quick walkthrough of how to take a static site generator and use it to create a documentation website. And I've used this to create the knowledge base website for Learn Robotics. So we are going to walk through how to build a website like this and how to use it for something technical. So if you have an engineering project or if you have a product that you want to sell and you need to build a quick support website, this is going to be a great fast tutorial for you. A couple of skills that I'm going to assume you have with something like this is you're going to need to be able to install a package. I'm using a Mac right now, so we're going to be using Brew to get Hugo set up. But if you're on Windows, you can use Chocolatey or follow the documentation on the Hugo website. I'll leave a link below in the description. And you're also going to need to know some basic terminal commands. We are going to be running everything in terminal. When I first started in robotics, using the terminal was like the bane of my existence. I didn't really understand how to maneuver the terminal because I didn't really understand what the terminal was. And if you already are a whiz at terminals, then you can move forward about a minute in this video. But for people that are still kind of struggling conceptualizing what the terminal is, you can think of it like a file system. So it's going to list out, and this PWD command is like, where are you now? And you're in this file path. So I'm in the Liz file path of my computer, and you can list out where do I want to go. So LS, I'm going to go into my desktop, and you can use tab to try to complete whatever you're trying to type. So now we are currently in the desktop, and I'm just going to clear this out so we don't have to look at anything. And what I'm going to do is just make a folder. So make directory, and I'm going to call this test, and you'll see that this test folder just popped up. And to easily open up the test folder, you can use open and dot to open up the desktop, or you can go CD, change directory into test, and then you can go open dot, and you can open up the actual test folder. There's nothing inside of it, so it's not super interesting. So those are kind of some very basic commands on terminal, but if you just think of it like you're going through a file system, let's say we want to backtrack to the desktop. We are currently in the test folder within the desktop. You can go cd dot dot, and that'll bring us back one directory, and you can see, clear that out. And that's pretty much what I would recommend is to just, if you need practice getting used to terminal and you need practice using terminal to work with GitHub, this is an awesome project to help you build these skills without having to sit and figure out like terminal directly, because I feel like learning how to use the terminal requires you using a project. So that's my little speech on the terminal. We're going to be using it quite a bit in this project. You're going to get a lot of experience with that. And then we'll also be using GitHub. So the second thing that you'll need is to be able to set up a GitHub account and then just create yourself a repository. I've created this public one here. So if you feel like checking it out, I'll store all of the stuff that we use in this project in this demo Hugo folder, and you can feel free to check that out and use it to help you learn how to set up a knowledge base. And a lot of these concepts can be used to create a personal portfolio website or a resume website as well. So you can use this knowledge and apply it in different ways if you would like. The first things first is you're going to need to make sure you have Hugo installed. So just go to the Hugo website, go to their quick start, make sure that you have it installed. You can use Brew on a Mac, or you can use Chocolatey on Windows, and they have the full step-by-step tutorial. I'm going to go ahead and just delete out this test folder. Third thing you're going to need is some sort of text editor. I like Atom, so I'd recommend, if you don't have a advanced text editor like Sublime or Atom, there's probably some other ones that you could use. To get one, download one. I'll leave a link to Atom below. It's my go-to. So you're going to want a really good text editor so that we can work on these files. All right, so now let's go ahead. We're going to create a new site. I'm just going to go ahead and follow this. We're going to go into the desktop. I'm going to do this project in my desktop so that we don't have to navigate through a lot of files and folders to get to it. So you can put it wherever you would like. So I've got a new site. It just said congrats. Now I have this quick start website. We can list it out. We can go into quick start. Let me clear this out. So now we're inside of the quick start folder. I can open it up. You can see here it is. Boom, we have our website. It's going to say to add a theme. So what we're going to do is go into quick start. So we're going to cd into quick start. We are already there. We are going to git init so that we can use GitHub. And then we are going to do the git submodule add. And we are going to be using this .hugo theme, which is the knowledge base and support theme for this website. So this is what it looks like. I will also leave a link to this below. We're going to go into code, copy the HTTPS. It doesn't support this GitHub. You're going to need to set up your private, I think it requires some different keys, public SSH keys. GitHub will ask you for authentication with your account. So just follow whatever the prompts are for that, and you should be good to go. It's not anything secretive. I already have it set up. I already have the keychains set up on my Mac. So it's not going to prompt me for that. But if it does ask you for some sort of key or whatever, it'll give you instructions on how to set up those keys for your device. All right, so I've got that. Let's go back into our terminal. I'm going to go ahead and add the, I don't know what that is. That's weird. Make sure that it comes in clean. So let me just make sure I actually have it. Okay, there we go. And we want it to go inside of the correct folder. So we want it to go into themes, and this is .hugo. So let's go back in. We want it to go into themes.hugo. And make sure you use the correct name of the theme because it is referenced inside the configuration for the website. So now we can list everything out. We should be good to go. We can go into themes. We can go into .hugo. We can go into example site. We should be able to build drafts. Disable fast render. It should be in here. .hugo not found. Oh, it's probably because it's the example theme. So the example theme, they want you to use this Hugo command. So go into example site and then use this example command. So see, we're now in .hugo example site. They want us to use this command, which will be a little bit different. This Hugo server, it's going to be a little bit different when we run it. So I'm just going to open up another window. It's going to be at localhost, and boom, we now have the example website. And really now the next step is to just adjust content and colors and personalize it. So we basically have a template. What I like to do now is I like to open up Atom, and I like to drag in the folder or add the folder for the project. So now I have all of the files for this website ready to go. If you go into themes and .hugo and you go into, really it's just this example site and the content, we can adjust this. If you have WordPress experience, you might know something like child themes. Well, this is the main theme right here. It's going to be pulled from GitHub, from the Theme Fisher GitHub repository for .hugo. You don't really want to change stuff in here. I mean, we could. So like for the actual main configuration, I believe it's right here. Like we could change this. And it should update here. Yep. So you'll see like we could change this, but if there's any pull or change or update to Theme Fisher's code, then it potentially could overwrite this because we have this as a submodule. So I would highly recommend not touching any of this stuff and just taking the information from the content site or from the example site. So we're going to copy the content into Quick Start Root. We're going to copy the images, and we are going to copy these static. We could probably leave alone because that's not really going to change. And then the only other thing we would copy is the layout if we want to change the actual HTML. So layouts contain the actual code for the web page. So if we want to change how like the header looks, or if we wanted to change how like banners look or the footer, we wanted to add some code. Like let's say you needed to add some code in the header. You could go into, there should be one for like the single page index, like let's say, here's head. So in head, if you wanted to like add in your Google Analytics, or if you wanted to add in some like a pixel or something, if you want to add code, you're going to want to copy the exact same formula. So like, let's say we wanted to make a modification ahead. What we would want to do is create a folder inside of root, inside of Quick Start, called layouts/partials, and then put head inside of that. So we'll go ahead and do that. So we'll do a folder called layouts. Okay. And it looks like that already exists. So inside of layouts, we put a new folder. We would call it partials. Make sure it's the exact same setup. And then we could just copy it. The point is you want it to follow the exact same structure of the original theme. And this will replace it. So you can consider like anything in root, like the child theme, if you know WordPress. And everything in themes is like what the fallback is. So let's go ahead, save, or not save it, refresh this. Let's go back into config, and we do need to grab the original configuration. So I'm going to go and find that. That should be in the example site. So we will go into example site config, and we will get rid of this old config, delete this, and then we are going to rename config 0 to config so that it knows this is our new config file. And we should reload this. It should say the same thing. So now we can go ahead and we can start modifying this. So I'm going to pretend we have like a robot arm project, and I'm going to pretend that we are creating documentation for this, and I'm just going to change up the color so that'll make it like a black color. And let's see if this is still rendering. It probably isn't because we are now outside of that. So let's go ahead and go back into the root. So let's see. Okay, so now we should be running the correct site, which is good. Okay, you notice we don't have any content here. So what we need to do is we need to delete the old one and rename the new one to content, because when we copied it, it didn't like that. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to kill it, and then I'm going to render, and I'll refresh this. It should show up now. Okay, cool. So now we've got our new site here, and you can see we can change this to whatever colors we want it to be. I'll just look for like a hex color picker and find a cool one that we can use. Let's use this, like this yellow is like really bold. Let's use this orange color, because then we don't have to worry about like icons and titles and stuff like that. So now we have this orange knowledge base. We can kind of go through this config file now that we have it, and we can update what we want our menu to look like, what we want our fonts to look like, if we have any Facebook or social things that we want to add. So like here's all the Facebook links. We can actually even just, if we delete this, it should delete out those icons. We can adjust the copyright. So we can get rid of their affiliation. Or we could just put robot arm. And we could put a URL if we had one. We can rename this to find tutorials for the robot arm. Enter search, and this will all adjust right up in here. So we can save that, and you can see we've now built this out. Now let's just say we had a bunch of random crap here and we didn't want this. We can go into index and find it. It should be actually in, I believe, this example site. We have to kind of just look for it. It might be in content. It's in content. So if we go into content index, we can just clear all this out. I'll just put hello world here just as like a point. So you can put whatever you want in here. I believe it might even support HTML if you wanted it to. No, it doesn't. It only supports Markdown, so don't try that. It'll break your site. So yeah, you can do, so I guess if you wanted it to be a H2 header, you could do, no, it's not reading that. I was thinking maybe it would. Oh yeah, it does. Okay, cool. So you can use Markdown in here to format things if you wanted to. So homepage stuff. So you could add in like whatever you wanted here. If you wanted to add a section of text, you could do that there. And then really what you just need to do is go into these folders. So all of these little blocks here are going to be controlled by that content directory. So you can just go into here, like let's say like we're not selling this, so we don't really need billing and pricing, but billing and pricing has a lot of templates in here on how to set stuff up. So you can delete all of this, but just know that like if you ever needed it, you can go back to the main theme, the theme directory for the example site, and you could copy that in. Frequently asked questions we'll leave, contact we will leave because it's a form. Features, I think we'll keep that, so that makes sense. Installation, so like let's say we wanted to change installation to download, we can do that, and we can actually change when this document was created. So then you've got download, and these icons are actually symbols, so you can just search for them. They're these themify icons. It's already been installed, so any of these could work, you know. So let's see if they have something for download. So this TI download might be a better icon, so you can go in and change that. So that looks pretty good. And then the description, how to download source code for robot arm. There you go. And then when you click on here, download is its own directory of documents. So we can go into, let's see, I think it has like, yeah, requirements, installation, configuration, customization. Each one of these has its own set. So here's configuration. We can go into configuration and you can actually put in your documentation, and here you can change the date. This is, maybe it's not this date, maybe it was whenever and it was last modified, maybe on the same day. You can update that. So then whatever shows down here shows the date correctly, and you can pretty much just follow this format. So they give you pretty much every style and module widget. The real task is going to be just going in and configuring all of these pages so that it meets the needs of your project. Last little thing I will kind of take a look at is the main menu. So it does have the ability to switch to multi-languages. If you wanted to get rid of that, you could just delete this out, or just, yeah, you can just get rid of this right here. And I think it will remove all this, so we don't need any of these French menus or anything like that. It'll get rid of that switcher up here. In terms of the actual drop-down menu, you can go into here and you can change this. The URL is going to be the name of the folder. So this downloads, I think it was, this installation, I think, is now going to be, installation actually is still the same, but I think we called it in the configuration, we called it, did we call it something else? We changed one of them. I think it was this download. So download root, see how it's at the path of installation. I think we're going to need to adjust that. So let's take a look. I think all we need to do is just rename this to download. Okay. Maybe not. Oh yeah, okay, cool. So now it's been updated. Oh, okay, cool. So, oh, it's added in. That's weird. Let's go back to the home page. Download, configuration. What I think we need to do is probably just give this a reboot. There we go. Okay, so now we've got the new download. So if it ever throws some weird error on you, you can just kill it and then restart it in terminal. So let's say we're good with this, we're happy with how this is set up. How do we get this online? Because right now we're running locally. The next step is to attach your GitHub repository with your existing repository. So what I like to do is just go into GitHub and create a new repository, give it a name. I'm using demo Hugo. I'm going to kill the local site. I'm going to make sure that I'm in Quick Start. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to push an existing repository from command line. So you'll see right here, I am inside of the Quick Start folder that holds all of the code for our local website. And so I'm just going to go git remote add, and then I'm just going to git add, git commit m, and I'm just going to say initial commit Hugo website. You can put whatever you want there, git push, origin master. And then I find that skipping this other crap and like, I don't know, I'm not a GitHub wizard, but doing this can kind of mess you up. So I just recommend skipping those two, and then just adding everything, committing everything, and pushing it, and then you're good to go. The next step is to go into Netlify and create an account. And this is what's going to host the website online. They actually will give you a free domain name, so you don't even need one. I'm going to import an existing project from GitHub, the one that we just provided, and you can create an account. I'm not going to walk you through how to do that because that's pretty straightforward. I'm going to attach our demo Hugo, and I'm going to hope that everything is in there. If it fails to deploy, we can go in and fix the netlify toml, I believe it is. There's a file that shows netlify what to do. I'm going to, fingers crossed, hope that it reads the one in the original theme. If it doesn't, then we can go ahead and we can take a look at it. So let's go ahead. It says it's published. This is where it's published at. Okay, so the theme died. The one thing that I've noticed with this is if you don't have, and let's go ahead and just change these deploy settings. This little cranky Edison is kind of a little weird. So let's change this. Change the site name. I'm just going to call this Demo Hugo. Let's see if it's available. Demo Hugo LR. And that's going to be our new website for this. Not sure how long I will keep this up. So if you try to go to this website, if it's down, the repository will still be on GitHub. And what we need to do is we need to go into the config toml and we need to tell it that our domain is here. Save this, and then we are going to go back into quick start, git add, git commit, update domain in config toml, git push origin master. And the cool thing about using Netlify is it will know that you just deployed, or it will know that you just pushed to GitHub, and it'll go ahead and it'll just auto build, which I really like. So hopefully this will fix that. And if it doesn't, there's one more thing we can take a look at to get this online. So now it's not going to be at Cranky Edison. It's going to be at this Demo Hugo LR. And let's see, Robot Arm project. Okay, so it didn't like that as well. What I think we need to do is we need to set up the Netlify. So let's go into the actual theme. And this is probably the trickiest part of getting this online. Once it's online, you're good to go. So let's go ahead. We are in themes. We need to go to Netlify toml. We need to go to quick start and paste that in there. And now we have this new Netlify toml. And I think we are good. Let's just save that. Let's add it. Netlify toml. Okay. Go back into Netlify. Let's see if it sees it. It does. Okay, it's still building. Site is live. Boom. Okay, cool. So now we are good to go. This is live. So I'll just go like an incognito. So like, just so that you know, there's no cache or anything like that on here. It's not local. It's on the internet, www, and this is its website, and you can use it like a regular website. So this is really cool. You've got a fully functional doc site. If you wanted to do ticketing, like so this contact, there's one little thing that I will share with you. If you wanted to do ticketing and use your website as a way to collect support docs, you can do that. You're going to need to go into the theme. You're going to need to go into the partials, so the layouts and the partials, and you're going to need to find the contact list HTML, and you're going to need to add a class that supports Netlify. So let's go in. They have this thing in here where you can go to forms, and you just need to put a netlify attribute into the form. So in this form action, you just need to put netlify. And what I would even do is I would just copy this list, go into layouts, and create a new folder called contact. And then in contact, I would paste this new lists HTML with the netlify attribute and just save that. And again, you need to go and you need to commit this. Before I do that, I want to change the configuration from it's saying contact us to submit a ticket. Let's see, we should run this locally and just make sure it looks good. Okay, so let's look at this locally. It could be because I changed that in the wrong place. Let me double check. Yes, I did. Okay, so we want to change this part in the menu to submit a ticket. And that should update here, submit a ticket. It's going to bring us to this got any questions. And the got any questions is in the content under the contact in the index EN. You can say submit a ticket, and I'll just get rid of this. Need help? Submit a service ticket below. We will respond in 24 to 48 hours. Okay, cool. Okay, that looks good. Let me just capitalize this. And the thing that I love about doing it this way is you can make rapid fixes to your website, and it's instant. It's really cool. From a button standpoint, this was something I did notice about this theme, this button primary. The color, it's like the color is weird on this, or like they don't actually put a value in here. That's what it was. I remember looking at this for this form. So in partials, if you go, you see how it doesn't say submit here, or it doesn't say anything. It's kind of a little weird. So you're gonna need to go into themes, gonna need to go into partial, was it in here? Yeah, it was in that list that we just copied over. And instead of putting this icon in here that's not supported, I just put submit into the HTML, and that should fix it. Okay, so that's good. Now we've kind of adjusted what we need to adjust. I'm not going to do any more editing on this. I'm going to kill the local site. Kill. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to just git add everything because I made a lot of adjustments. And then I'm just going to git commit and update ticketing form and push. Okay, so that is set there. We are going to go back to deploys. It's building it right now. We should see updates fairly soon, presuming that nothing fails. And really the cool thing about this is you can do pretty much whatever updates you want to locally. You can add it to, once you push to GitHub, it'll update your website. And it's pretty nice. I really like this app that they have for this. If you wanted to create a personal portfolio, or if you wanted to create a documentation website like we just did, we're hitting about 35 minutes in this video. I mean, that's rapid. Like, you really can't get any faster than that to have a high quality website that's hosted online, that's accessible by anyone, with a working form. So we could just do like a test here, whatever, John Smith, email, hello, need assistance, can you help with my robot? It needs a software update. Okay, so now we can go back and we just tested out the form. If we go actually into Netlify and we go under forms, we can see this form submission here from that one that we just did. And yeah, you can even set this, you can connect these forms to like Slack, you can connect them to your email, you can get notified when people submit tickets, you can use email and email automations to manage a ticketing system for free, pretty much. So yeah, that's all I'm going to share with you right now. If you liked this type of video, I know this isn't directly related to robotics, but if you are building robots or you're building a technical project and you need a way to manage documentation that is visible and accessible to anybody online, then you're going to probably run into this issue where you're like, I don't know how to set up a site like this that's going to be useful unless I go to one of the online subscription tools or whatever and pay for either a free site, or like they have like a freemium option or a paid option for subscription. So I hope this was helpful. If anything, if you're not going to use it for creating the website, you learned a little bit more about GitHub and how to connect GitHub to your local project, and then how to work a little bit more in the terminal and gain some of those technical skills. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. If you like this style of video, hit the thumbs up button, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.